Rights to freedom is dead. We're coming to get our check.
Black first, my brothers and my sisters. Welcome to the Afro Elite YouTube channel. I am your host, Afro Elite. Before we get started, please make sure that you guys hit that subscribe button, notification bell, thumbs up, everything, because we're on our way to 10K. Thank you guys very much. Now, 1 year from now, we're going to have another presidential election. And right now, it is looking like it's going to be a rematch between Joe Biden and Donald Trump. So a lot of polls are being done, a lot of studies, a lot of research is being done as far as who is winning, where is the country leaning to, and in some battleground states, some key battleground states that's very necessary for either party to win. Donald Trump is beating Joe Biden. So a lot of people are wondering, okay, what's going on? This shows that there's a lack of black votes. So there's been polls and there's been studies, and there was an article done by the New York Times that we're going to research, we're going to look at, and we're going to find an in-depth analysis as to what this problem really is and what this means for Joe Biden, what this means for Donald Trump, and more importantly, what this means for black society. As black voters drift to Trump, Biden's allies say they have work to do. New York Times / Siena College polling painted a worrisome picture of the president's standing with a crucial constituency. Democratic strategists warned that the erosion could threaten his re-election. Black voters are more disconnected from the Democratic Party than they have been in decades, frustrated with what many see as inaction on the political priorities and unhappy with President Biden, a candidate they helped lift to the White House just 3 years ago. And that's true. Biden even acknowledged it himself that he needed the black support. He wouldn't have gotten in there without it. Everybody's acknowledged that, and we've been the most ignored despite the fact that we were the most helpful. It goes on to say, new polls by New York Times and Siena College found that 22% of black voters in 6 of the most important battleground states say that they would support former President Donald J. Trump in next year's election, and just 71% would back Mr. Biden. Now, what's interesting about this is that even though it seems like a larger amount would support Biden over Trump, you have to consider the fact that there's still a number of people, if you combine that, there's still 7% of people who are undecided, which means that either they're going to lean one way or another, or they might not support anybody at all. And that's a problem for the Biden administration. Now, even when you look at that, even though its majority say they would support Mr. Biden, you have to think there's still a number of people who have not decided. And that's a problem for Biden too. Because like I've been saying, Trump doesn't necessarily need that much black support. It's Biden needs the black support. That's the thing. It continues to say, the drift in support is striking, given that Mr. Trump won just 8% of black voters nationally in 2020 and 6% in 2016. According to the Pew Research Center, a Republican presidential candidate has not won more than 12% of the black vote in nearly half a century. Mr. Biden has a year to shore up his standing, but if numbers like these held up across the country in November 2024, they would amount to a historic shift. No Democratic presidential candidate since the civil rights era has earned less than 80% of the black vote. And we can acknowledge that this is a problem. All right. It shows that black people have been far too loyal to the Democratic Party. Black people have been incredibly loyal, but we're starting to see the shift. And the shift has been changing really since Obama, to be very honest, with black people starting to lose the loyalty and commitment that black people have had for the Democratic Party. Starting to fade away, and it's become increasing at a rapid pace that they cannot make up for. It goes on to say, the new polling offers an early warning sign about the erosion of Mr. Biden's coalition, Democratic strategists said, cautioning that the president will probably lose his re-election bid if he cannot increase his support from this pivotal voting bloc. The number of Democratic strategists acknowledged that the downbeat numbers in battleground states extended beyond black voters to the party's core constituencies. warning that the Biden campaign had to take steps to improve its standing, particularly with Black, Latino, and younger voters. The Times CNN polls surveyed registered voters in Arizona, Georgia, Michigan, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and Wisconsin. Now, what's interesting is that in all of these states, Biden is pretty much losing in all of these states except Wisconsin, and he's only beating Trump by 2 points in Wisconsin. But let's be honest, it's the Black vote that he needs to do something for. Every time we have these conversations, you always have this shift where they say it's the Black and it's the brown and it's the young. It's not the brown, it's the Black vote that got him in there. It's the Black vote that if he does not have, will keep him from staying in there. It's the Black vote. They're sitting up there making it seem like the what quote unquote Latino vote and the younger vote are going to really make a difference. Because when they say younger, they do mean younger whites. And even younger whites, majority of white society voted for Donald Trump. So that's going to happen again. They voted for him in 2016 and then they voted for him in 2020 as a majority. And that's going to happen again if he makes it to 2024. So he needs to not worry about that. He needs to worry about the only constituency that he's completely ignored since he's been in office, and that's the Black constituency. It continues to say, Celinda Lake, a Democratic pollster for Mr. Biden's campaign in 2020, said the president's political operation has not been, quote, present enough for Black Americans and younger voters. See, this is them playing dumb, like they've been doing stuff, but we just can't see it because it's not present enough, whatever that means. She goes on to say, quote, I don't think we've been voicing what we've delivered to the African American community, and particularly among younger African American men, she said. We have to get the numbers up, and we have to get the African American voters out to vote, and we have to get the numbers up with young people, and we have to get them out to vote. See, the thing is that it's not the fact that you're voicing. You don't have a voice problem. You have a doing anything problem. You've been talking to Black people a lot, but you have not done anything. All right. All we've been getting is talk. His entire campaign, his entire administration. That's all we've been getting is empty symbolism and nothingness. All right. The problem is that they say, and they've been saying pretty much ever since Biden became president, is, oh my God, Biden is changing the world for Black people in America. You just can't believe it. You just don't understand because Biden doesn't brag. You know, he's a very humble guy. So Biden doesn't really brag about what he's doing when it comes to the Black community. It's just that we haven't advertised it, so you think we're not doing something, but we're really doing a lot. Okay, if you all have honestly been saying that for the past 3 years, why don't you just tell what you've been doing? Why for the last 3 years you guys have been saying you have a communication problem when it comes to voicing all of the magnificent and wonderful things that you guys have done for Black people? Why don't you just say it? Why don't you show the statistics about how Black people's life has gotten better under the Biden administration? If that's the case, which is what they're trying to make it seem like it is. If that's the case, just say it. Because anytime we say you haven't done anything, oh no, we've done a whole lot now. You just don't understand because we haven't been voicing it. Okay, well, right now, voice it. Well, because they haven't been doing anything. Continues to say, Mr. Biden's numbers in the polling are particularly low among Black men. 27% of Black men supported Mr. Trump compared with 17% of Black women, which is still a minority, but that's a decent percentage point off. Okay, so Black men support Donald Trump 10% more than Black women collectively, the ones who do support Donald Trump. Going on to say, there's still signs that Democrats hurdle with Black voters, however, alarming for the party, leave room for improvement. About a quarter of Black voters who said they plan to support Mr. Trump said that there was a chance that they would end up backing Mr. Biden. Cornell Blitcher, who worked as a pollster for former President Barack Obama, said he doubted that many Black voters would switch their support to Mr. Trump. His bigger fear is that they might not vote at all. See, this is what I'm telling you guys is what they're worried about. it's not necessarily the blacks for Trump. They're not super worried about that because black people collectively are smart enough not to be blinded and go support Donald Trump just because of the complete idiocy and racism of Biden. That's not necessarily what they're really worried about. They're not worried about the blacks for Trump crowd. They're worried about the no tangibles, no vote crowd. That's who they're scared of. That's who they're worried about. That's the message that's been resonating among the people, and that's the message that's going to destroy their campaign in his re-election bid. All right? Because, like I said, Trump already has a big base. The only thing that can beat Trump's base is the black people's vote for Biden and for the Democratic Party. We're the people who uphold and give the strength to Biden's campaign and to the Democratic Party. If they lose us, they won't have enough power to beat Trump or the Republicans. So the thing is that we don't need to shift to Donald Trump or to the Republicans. All we need to do is not support Biden and the Democrats, and they're going to fall. That's the thing. So they're not even necessarily worried about the people who are saying, I'm not going to support Biden, I'm going to support Trump. They're not as worried about that as they are about the principle of black people not being loyal to Biden. That's the thing that's scaring them, because they know for a fact that there's black people who are saying Trump over Biden, so there's no chance. But the people who are saying, I don't know, there's a chance that they just might not vote at all. So they're concerned with losing the black vote that they are seeing fading away from them. It continues to say, quote, I'm not worried about Trump doubling his support with black and brown voters, said Mr. Blitcher, who focuses particularly on surveying voters of color. What I'm worried about is turnout. See, exactly. This is what they're all worried about. Because the thing is that high turnout for the Democrats and for Biden is the only way he's going to be able to beat Trump. The only way. And if he does not have that, like he did in 2020, he's not going to win. There's not a chance. And it's not black and brown voters or voters of color. It's the black vote. The black vote is what got him in there. And the black vote is what's going to determine if he stays or if he has to go. He added, quote, but that's what campaigns are for. We built a campaign to solve for that problem. Karen Wright, a business consultant in McDonough, Georgia, who immigrated to the United States from Jamaica in 1982, said that she has always voted for Democrats, seeing them as the best option for younger immigrants, particularly those from predominantly black countries like hers. Now, I think that's very interesting when you talk about immigrants from predominantly black countries like, Jamaica or maybe Haiti. Oh yeah, did we forget what happened with the Haitian immigrants? Huh? Did we forget what happened to this? See, you think, you tell us, y'all some very naive people. You think that they're your friends because you are viewing yourself as an immigrant first. This is why we say black first, because that's the way the world is going to see you, regardless of what you see yourself as. Regardless of what you identify yourself as, the world is going to see you as black first. So Biden is seeing black immigrants like, okay, maybe in Jamaica in 1982, okay, that's cool. But the thing is that he's the best option for younger immigrants. Ask the Haitians about that. It continues to say, now, though, she believes Mr. Biden has not followed through on his campaign promises on immigration. Oh, no. Here's the thing with that. He has. He's gone above and beyond his promises on immigration. Why don't you go ask the Hispanics about that, who are invading cities like Chicago, in New York, in D.C.? Why don't you ask them about that? Why don't you ask the Ukrainians who are coming over here about that, or the Afghanistan refugees who are coming over here about Biden and his immigration promises? Biden loves himself some immigration, don't you know? Biden loves it. He loves nothing more than immigration. It's just that black part that, got you confused, ma'am. It's not the fact that he has a problem with immigration. It's the fact that he has a problem with black people, and you are black, just like the people from your country is black, just like the people from Haiti are black. Okay, those are the people that he has a problem letting over here. Everybody else seems to come over here no problem at all. He's seeming like he's inviting and getting people to come over here, giving them incentives to come over here. So he didn't fail on his promises with immigration. Get your question, get your thoughts correct. It's black people, all right? It continues to say, worries that Democrats have gone too far in their embrace of LGBTQ issues and faults them for books used in public education that she believes are too sexually explicit. And, I do agree with that. As far as a lot of that stuff that they're pushing on the young kids in schools and stuff like that, I completely 100% disagree with that. It continues to say, next year, Mrs. Wright, 53, said that she planned to support Republicans up and down the ballot, and that she is not alone. So when they say up and down the ballot, that means it's not just Trump is the only Republican. That means she's completely switching from Democrats to Republicans. That's Republican in all of the seats of Congress and everything, as far as local government, everything. It continues to say, quote, my clients are mostly black, she said. They voted Democrat last year, and they all said next election they're going to vote Republican. Angela Yang, the executive director of Black Leaders Organizations for Communities, a group that aims to mobilize black voters in Milwaukee, said canvassers who worked with her organization had encountered an overwhelming number of black voters who did not want to vote or did not see the value in turning out again. See, that's the thing. Then it's the thing is that they're not even necessarily worried about the Trump support as much as they're worried about the fading of Biden support. It continues to say, quote, people are like, why should I vote? I don't feel like voting. Voting doesn't do anything. My life hasn't changed, she said, adding that the group had found that high prices and housing instability had fed people's pessimism. Quote, if your basic needs aren't being met, it's difficult to pay attention to politics, and it's difficult to have faith in that system when you voted before, but you're still struggling day to day. Most people are like, hey man, we're gonna vote for y'all for what? Y'all ain't did nothing that's helped us. We still struggling out here. In fact, a lot of black people, when it comes to the higher prices of housing, gas, food, all of that stuff, when it comes to the higher pricing of everything, and the fact that you haven't done anything to specifically help the black economy or give any side of tangibles, any bit of tangibles like you have to other groups of people, most black people have felt like, man, our life is harder under Biden. It's worse under Biden than it was under Trump. That's what a lot of black people are really starting to feel. It continues to say, still, Cliff Albright, a veteran progressive organizer and a co-founder of Black Voters Matter, said Democrats had time to get back on track. Black voters, he said, are responding to the same fears about economic and global uncertainty that many Americans are confronting. No, they're not. It's not the same fears. Let's be honest, okay? Black people are facing different problems than everybody else. And when you quote unquote black voters matter and everything, the thing is that you're not even acknowledging the reason why black people don't feel like they should be voting is because of the fact that we're facing more particular issues, and the issues that America is facing is worse on black America. So it's not like, oh, well, everybody feels that way. No, that's not the case. Everybody doesn't feel that way. Black people feel that way. It continues to say, we're a year out from election, Mr. Albright said. If you ask the very same people the same question a year from now, when the choice is very clear, the same 22% might have a very different answer. Possibly, but the thing is that even though they might, or the number might be larger. than 22%. That's the thing. Because even if the 22%, even if a good 8% of the 22 folds, that would still be a bigger number than what it was last year. But the thing is that they're seeing with 2016 and 2020 that the trend is going against the Democratic Party. It's not like we're upset with them, but we're going to break bad and vote for them anyway. They're seeing that the numbers are going down. They're seeing the trend going down. He added, "There is work to be done, yes, but is the sky falling? No." Black voters have long powered Democratic presidential victories. Their support in South Carolina in 2020 set Mr. Biden on the path to becoming the nominee. During the general election, black voters were again crucial to his victory. Biden campaign officials now say they recognize they have work to do with black voters, and they and their allies are beginning multi-million-dollar engagement campaigns targeting them. Last month, the Biden campaign started an organization program in black neighborhoods in Milwaukee. The campaign has dispatched top surrogates to hold events aimed at black voters and has bought advertising on black radio programs that promotes the, quote, real difference from black America his policies have made. President Biden is getting it done, the narrator says, for us, and that's a fact. Okay, well, why don't you just explain that? It's a whole bunch of, man, we got to really show y'all. We got to buy a radio advertisement. Here's the thing. When it comes to these other groups of people, you sign legislation so they don't have to sit up there and listen to the radio to figure out what's being done for them. They don't have to do that because they see it in their bank account. Black people are the only ones who see everything getting worse around them, but we got to listen to the radio. Oh, he getting it done now. He getting it done. Biden's getting it done. That's a fact. He's getting what done? That's the thing. Saying he's getting it done. What is it that he's getting done? Quentin Folks, a deputy campaign manager for Mr. Biden, said, quote, "We know we have got to work and we have got to communicate with these voters, and we've got to do it earlier than ever before. All this communicating, why don't Biden just do something, okay? Because you're communicating and all you're doing, and when they say communicating, all they're doing is pretty much talking about a general policy that includes black people, that black people are included in. They're not naming anything in particular for black people. They're just naming general policies that can include black people. So when they talk about, well, Biden has lowered costs of prescription drugs, and black people use prescription drugs as well? So, I mean, that includes, black people too. So isn't that like a black thing? Or Biden has lowered student loan debt, and black people do have student loans as well. So that technically does mean that black people's been benefiting. No, that's not the thing. Why don't you communicate something specific? But the thing is, you can't, because Biden has not done anything specifically. It goes to say, in interviews, black voters said they had seen little progress from the Biden administration on some of their top priorities, including student loan debt relief, reliable housing, and accountability for the police. Let me add, first off, reparations, student loan debt relief. That is not, they keep saying stuff like that. Oh man, black people with those student loans, that's really gonna win black people over. No, if you give the reparations, black people will take care of their own student loans. Okay. Now, affordable housing, yeah, that's an issue. Accountability for the police, yeah, Biden's been allowing the police to run amok in his administration with no sort of accountability. Okay, Biden was the one who promised a police oversight committee and then dropped that the second he got in office. So those are two real issues when it comes to black housing and police brutality. But let's scratch off that student loan thing, because if you replace that with reparations, it won't be a student loan debt relief problem. Continues to say, some worried that Mr. Biden was more focused on foreign policy than on domestic issues like inflation. In the Times CNN poll, 80% of black voters rated the economy as, quote, only fair or poor, which means the economy in America is not doing well. A few said that their openness to supporting Mr. Trump, despite his offensive comments about black communities, and the 91 felony charges he faces and several criminal cases reflect their disaffection with Mr. Biden and his party more than any real affinity for the former president. Now, let's be honest. His offensive comments about the black community, did not Biden say that if you do not vote for me, you're not black? Biden said that. Biden has said that black kids can be just as smart as white kids. Biden has been promoting segregation. Okay? Biden's been going around calling grown black men boy. So what do you mean offensive comments? Biden has made just as offensive comments as Trump has, and I'm not sitting up here defending Trump and his comments about black people. But I'm just saying, if we're going to be talking about offensive comments, let's compare apples to apples, because Biden has made just as much offensive comments, if not more offensive comments about the black community than Trump has. But what they're saying is really true when it comes to there's not really a super strong affinity for the former president. It's not like black people are sitting up there losing their minds for Trump as much as they're fading their support and getting more angry with Biden. It goes on to say, Kenyon Reynolds Martin, a father of one in Milwaukee, praised what he saw as Mr. Trump's prioritizing of the economy and domestic policy. Recalling the stimulus checks he received during the pandemic, Mr. Trump initially did not support the relief checks, which were spearheaded by Democrats. He later affixed his signature to them, representing the first time a president's name had appeared on an Internal Revenue Service disbursement. Mr. Reynolds Martin, 25, said he planned to vote for Mr. Trump next fall when he cast his first ballot ever. Of Mr. Biden, he said, he's not giving money to help the United States, but he's giving money to other countries, adding, at least Donald Trump was trying to help the United States. Kalitha McLaren, 45, a home health aide in Philadelphia, said she was undecided about whether to vote in 2024. So she ain't really even thinking about voting at all. She worries about a total erosion of democracy under a second Trump administration. But she is also frustrated with Mr. Biden and his party for failing to tackle rising costs that have not kept pace with her income and for not providing help with her student loan debt. On Tuesday, she plans to vote for the Democrat running for mayor of her hometown. Quote, "Don't get me wrong, I'm going to support the Democrats," she said, "but they haven't won me over yet on what they're trying to do for the country. Because what they're doing now ain't working." Well, here's the thing. How are you going to say, don't get me wrong, I'm going to support the Democrats, but they haven't won you over? You just literally said, so they don't have to win you over to get your support? These are the vote blue no matter who. I'm mad, I'm upset, I'm frustrated, but I'm still going to vote for them anyway. Like, what are you talking about? If they haven't won you over, why are you voting for them? Why are you supporting them? Now, let's be honest. It's not because black people are unaware of all of the great things. They don't have a voicing problem. They don't have a thing when it comes to communicating. They have a thing when it comes to doing things that are tangible. And campaigns like Biden's campaign is not going to succeed because they refuse to be honest and tell the truth that everybody is acknowledging, that everybody knows. And instead, they're playing on people's intelligence. They're insulting black people's intelligence by saying things like, well, we've done so much for you, you just don't see it because we haven't told you. But unless we tell you, you won't know because you can't figure it out on your own. That is insulting. That is offensive, okay? So black people are already being double offended by Joe Biden of first ignoring them after guaranteeing that he was going to do something for them, and then ignoring them, and then being insulted by saying, I'm not ignoring you, I'm doing something, you just too stupid to see it. That's insulting. But the thing is that the trend is fading. The loyalty that black society has had for Donald Trump is fading. This is what they're worried about, okay? And like I'm saying, it's not necessarily black people shifting from from Joe Biden all the way to Donald Trump. That's not all the way what they're worried about, because that margin is not super, super big. But what they're noticing is that there's a bigger drop in the loyalty, okay? It's people who are like, you know what? I don't need to be voting at all. That is what they're worried about. They're worried about that particular problem. The no tangibles, no vote crowd that's growing, that mentality that's trending. That's what they're worried about. And since really, and they said it, since the civil rights era, they have never had to deal with that problem because 80% at least have voted for the Democratic presidential election. But now they're starting to see, because of black society becoming more politically educated, because of the new black media, because of what's going on in America, they're starting to see that grip that they've had on the black voting bloc, the black constituency is starting to fade away. And they're squeezing as tight as they can to keep it because they know when it's gone for good. They know that. But the thing is that they can't hold on to it because in order to hold on to it, they would have to do something tangible, and they refuse to do that. So it's really looking bad for Joe Biden, and it's really looking bad for the whole party. Now, family, I want to know what you guys think about it in the comment section below. What do you think about Trump beating Biden in these important battleground states? What do you think about the black voting bloc and the black constituency fading their support for Joe Biden? What do you think about that? Let me know in the comment section below. Also, you should be following me on my various social media platforms, which is Afro Elite on Instagram and the Afro Elite on Twitter. Please do not forget to hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, hit that notification bell, hit that share button, leave a comment. All of that, because all of that helps the reach and the growth of the channel. We are on our way to 10K. We're heading to that goal. We're right around the corner, and that's because of all of your support. So you can be a part of this. You can be a part of the first 10,000 subscribers that this channel has ever had. So I thank you guys for all of your support, for watching everything. Thank you so very much. Now, with that being said, my brothers and my sisters, be one salute to every single last one of you all, and you all have a good one.